Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 358 shopping days left until Christmas. Welcome to Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. Hi, my name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight is my co-host, Johnny Five, the Human Robot.
Yo.
John, what's going on, buddy? How was your Christmas?
Not a whole damn lot. It was okay. Uneventful, which is all I really hope for.
Yeah, that's kind of the best, for the best, really. Like, an uneventful, kind of quiet Christmas is good.
Yeah, I'm not too big on doing too much for it. It's like, hey, cool, I have a day where I'm not required to do anything, and I'll take it.
Right, yeah. Go see family, have some food. That's about it, really. But tonight on the show, Christmas is behind us. We've kind of gotten our July at Christmas fever out of our system, and we're ready to get back to the your regularly scheduled holiday madness
of just watching garbage that just happens to have a Santa Claus in it.
Exactly. We're gonna ease back into it. We're gonna slowly get you back onto that holiday drip. But first, we have a couple of surprises for you. We got a couple of segments before we get to our main event, the movie we're talking about tonight, which is, as you might have guessed by the title of the episode, Sylvester Stallone's 1986 film Cobra. But first, we have two segments. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll jump into the first segment. And here we go. Greetings, holiday shoppers, creepazoids, friends of the podcast, whatever you want to call yourselves. This is a special segment here on Christmas Creeps. We're doing kind of sort of impromptu. We weren't sure when we were going to be able to do this, but
the expiration date dictated that it has to be today. So
exactly. So we've kind of been talking about this for a while. You might have heard us talk about this on the show maybe 2 or 3 months ago. There exist in the world Christmas tree flavored potato chips, and Mr. J5 has procured a bag of these chips for us. And we know how much you love hearing us taste test shitty candies on the show. And we thought, well, why not taste test a terrible sounding bag of potato chips?
Yeah, I'm going to chew into the microphone. Enjoy that ASMR, motherfuckers.
Oh,
so
yes.
These are from Iceland, which is a supermarket chain in the UK and other places. Fun fact, apparently the country of Iceland sued them about the name and lost. I don't know the details of it, but I know the supermarket won.
Oh, wow. So it's actually British, but they're just calling it Icelandic?
No, they're calling it Iceland because it's a supermarket that specializes in frozen stuff mainly.
Okay, Iceland, not Iceland. Okay.
Yes. These are luxury Christmas tree flavor salted hand-cooked crisps. And it has a little badge on it that says festive flavor. The ingredients list: potatoes, sunflower oil, pine salt flavor seasoning, and that's it.
Pine salt or pine sol? This is very important.
Salt.
Okay.
With a T.
It's going to clean my shit out.
Yes. There was one review on the website for them. That review said, these taste like dirt. So
I can't wait.
We will find the fuck out.
And we've got a couple of beers ready on hand to wash these down with too. So, crack that bad boy open.
Okay. These do kind of smell actually like a Christmas tree. That's very disconcerting.
Okay, let's see here. Oh. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, it's like you've done what you were setting out to do, but at what cost?
It's like putting your head in a fireplace where you accidentally put part of the Christmas tree. Oh yeah, look at that waveform go. First impressions.
The aftertaste is a lot worse than the taste.
I'm afraid. I'm
when
very
you eat
afraid.
it just tastes like potatoes, but then you have this like weird like thing that shouldn't be a flavor left over in your mouth afterwards.
This is what Metallica's "The Thing That Should Not Be" was about.
Apparently so.
Okay. There it is. Oh,
Oh, and you were one and done, are you?
That's that's not doing me right at all. Oh my god. It's like licking the floor of a taxi cab.
The friend who sent me these, when I asked her about them, she said that if I wanted to, she would also get me British Christmas tree, which the two flavors she pointed out were Brussels sprouts and pigs in a blanket.
Oh.
Specifically, it is marketed as Christmas tea.
Tea. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Christmas tea flavors. They specifically say Christmas on the box, and it's Brussels sprouts is one of them, and pigs in a blanket is the other one.
I'm trying to think of which of those two I would rather drink. Like, I guess the Brussels sprouts one I just imagine gives off a really funky odor.
For the pigs in a blanket, I'm just imagining literally hot dog water.
That's just hot dog water. That's fine. I mean, I've encountered hot dog water before. That's no big deal. But
it really does taste like when you're like walking through the woods and get like a fucking tree limb in the mouth.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So it's like, congratulations, you succeeded at what you were doing.
But why did you do it?
Yes, indeed.
And before this, we had kind of guessed that maybe because there's like a juniper kind of flavor to the chips, right? Like the pine and juniper.
Yeah.
So we kind of assumed that this was going to taste like a mint julep or a vodka tonic or something, some kind of alcoholic drink with gin in it. And
I mean, it does taste like if you happen to literally eat part of a tree.
Yeah, it tastes
not
more like
one of
that.
the trees you're supposed to eat.
No. Like every joke that I can think of regarding like taxi cab air fresheners is coming to my mind right now.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with this is it has adequately done what it was setting out to do.
Bring it here. Let's go in for round 2.
God,
I know, right? What is wrong with us? And it says specifically this was made with no palm oil. As I understand in the UK, that's kind of a big deal right now.
I should hope not. It's a pine tree, not a palm tree.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're banning the use of palm oil.
That is news to me. I'm not sure what that's even about.
Because palm tree deforestation is apparently a big issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in America. That doesn't matter to us.
Nah, who cares? We're gonna be dead in 10 years anyway.
Yeah. If we're lucky. I don't know if I mean if we're lucky it'll only be 10 years or if it's lucky we'll at least last 10 years.
Yeah.
Both work.
Yeah, either way.
2019, motherfuckers.
Here's to a happy new year.
Okay, for y'all enough of it.
All right, one more for the road, and then we'll call this a day.
Karen wants to try these as well, so I have to take some to her.
Yeah, we're not going to eat. There's a lot in here. This is a big bag.
Yeah, this is like 180 grams. It's about the size of like half of like a regular, normal, like big bag of chips you'd buy to put in the pantry.
Yeah, this is more than like a single serving, but definitely like not quite like a family size bag of chips.
Yeah, she also sent me some Maltesers, which I think those kind of work better for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
As advertised, but at what cost is all I'll say.
But at what cost? It's like the kind of thing you would buy somebody as a prank. Here in the U.S., at least.
And then we're just inflicting this on ourselves because that's just us.
Yeah, because this is the show that we do, and we have to entertain y'all somehow. Are you not entertained, Creepazoids?
No.
Oh, my God.
I did it for you, Damien. It's all for you. All right.
And we're back. So, John...
And because of the government shutdown, Brad's not here to say a dinosaur story. It's so terrible.
Oh, yeah. That's the one thing he gets paid to do. Didn't let him do it this time. Oh, boy. So, yeah, John, the pine tree chip taste is still lingering in my mouth. It's kind of terrible.
Karen tried them, and she likes them.
Really?
Because she said they taste like someone dipped potato chips in gin, and she likes gin.
No, see, that's what we kind of figured. Like, there was going to be some kind of gin aspect to it. So I'm glad she at least can appreciate that.
Yeah, she's fucking weird. She likes that cucumber gin, which, good God.
Yeah, I'm not much of a gin person,
herself,
so those chips were kind of lost on me.
Yeah, that's all good, yeah. She was going to be with us today, but she's feeling a bit under the weather, so we're doing this a duo. But yeah, overall, Christmas tree chips, not as bad as we expected, but also why?
Yeah, that's kind of the question we came up with, was just like, who exactly is this for? And I guess the answer is idiots like us who will do this on a podcast.
I would compare it to like the Jones Soda Thanksgiving nonsense, except these are still edible at least, which you can't say that like the Jones Soda stuff is not made to actually be drank.
No, it's that's a prank in a bottle. But this, there's obviously an audience out there for it. I mean, Karen liked them, so
an audience of one.
Just in the wrong country. All right, so moving on, we've got one more pre-recorded segment to surprise you with tonight. So J-Man has gotten involved in a Twitter beef, and it kind of involves our show. So we're gonna cut to that now, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, so we're gonna do something we haven't really done in a while. For good reason we haven't done it in a while, but this is a special circumstance. We're going to read some bullshit off the internet and then scoff audibly at it. That's pretty much what's going on.
If Brad were here, this would be a part of the Bradford exchange.
Yes, but Brad's not here because Brad's on strike.
Yes, Brad is on strike for New Year's. Therefore, it's just John and me. Sorry.
Fuck you, Brad.
All right, so John, you brought this to our attention, and I feel like you can explain this best.
All right, so 17 hours ago, I got banned from Twitter for this for 12 hours, by the way, because I swore at a blue check mark. That's my fault. I should know better. Mother was right to punish me. But Philippe Rines, who is, I don't give a shit if I'm pronouncing his name correctly or not. He's basically just a hashtag resistance asshole. He worked on Gore Lieberman's campaign. He worked on Hillary's State Department and Hillary's campaign. So just to say, he's just a lifelong party asshole is pretty much how to put it.
Yeah. And just to like lay it out there, like we don't have any beef with that in itself.
I do, because I'm just like I will say full communism and only be about like 30% ironic about it, but that's just me personally.
Right, we're not coming at this from the other like not Merry Christmas motherfuckers kind of place. So.
No, we're coming at this from like this guy sucks and is online even more than we are. And he makes a lot of money, so he should like have other things to do with his fucking life than be online and make bad tweets. But here we are.
Right. This is our job. This is not his job.
Yes. This is doubly so our job because we're the fucking Christmas podcast, and what we say is a Christmas movie counts. And anything we've recorded on this podcast is necessarily a Christmas movie because we're the Christmas podcast.
Right. Unless explicitly stated, like in last week's episode.
Yeah, or Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus is not a Christmas movie, I'll give you that.
Right. However, according to this man's logic, it's also not a Halloween movie.
Yeah. Here's his Eric Garland ass Adderall and craft beer tweet storm. Here's his first tweet. Die Hard was released on July 15th, 1988. Christmas every year is December 25th. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, period. Which, if we want to get into that, first off, It's a Wonderful Life was released in January. A lot of Christmas movies are released in November before Thanksgiving even happens, which if you want to get into what people think counts as actual Christmas creep, people complain when you see things before Thanksgiving for Christmas. Which, by the way, Walmart already has Valentine's candy out as we speak.
And they have had it out for weeks.
Yeah.
So... But also, like I just said, Hocus Pocus was released in July. I think maybe even July 15th. And by this man's logic, not a Halloween movie.
Not at all. Then he says, I'm processing everyone's responses because he did not get ratioed, but it's pretty close. I'm processing everyone's responses, which are, shall we say, not in complete agreement with me. I'm keeping an open mind to criticism of my release date argument, as well as other points people have enthusiastically offered. Then I will drop a logic bomb on your heads.
I'm so ready for the logic bomb.
Oh, God. There's like 15 fucking tweets like this, and they're all just awful. Never tweet like this, by the way. Never tweet, first off, that's bad, but like don't tweet like this, doubly so.
Hang on. I want to talk about his first tweet here, because I have a specific beef with this tweet. His first tweet in this argument is, to start, you turn on HBO at 11 p.m. on May 15th and see Die Hard is on. You say, cool. You switch to Showtime and Charlie Brown Christmas is on, and you say, what the fuck? So his argument is because HBO shows Die Hard in May, therefore it must not be a Christmas movie. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I watch Home Alone in June like once a year. Like they show Home Alone all the goddamn time and they don't even care.
Yeah. Also, I would be surprised if Charlie Brown Christmas was on Showtime, because I'm like, wow, there are no titties in Charlie Brown Christmas. What's it doing on Showtime? Yeah, because, I mean, if you want to be pedantic about it, we'll be fucking pedantic about it. Don't worry,
yeah. If you want to play in our sandbox, we'll play in the fucking sandbox.
I shit in the sandbox earlier. But yeah, this argument is just total bullshit, because it's personal fucking preference. That's just like your opinion, man.
Right.
Like, you can literally... We're proof. You can watch a movie whenever you fucking feel like.
We watch Christmas movies all year round and don't even think twice about it. I don't think twice about it. I don't know about you.
No, like I didn't watch Christmas Vacation yet this year, which I try to do every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go watch it this weekend because, like, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched that in a while.
Honestly, like, and I talked about this on Twitter recently. Part of my new Christmas tradition is it's not quite Christmas yet until I watch a Godzilla movie. So that's just the way I enjoy the holidays. So is that wrong?
A true Xmas movie is seasonal and should feel out of place out of the holiday season. Muppet's Christmas Carol is seasonal, as is... Muppet's Christmas is seasonal, as is the Muppet Christmas Carol. The Muppet movie is not. A Christmas movie should feel awkward out of the holiday season. Die Hard does not. That's because it's a good movie.
Right. Like, it doesn't matter when the movie should take place. And also, you know, Die Hard with a Vengeance kind of proves that you can set a Die Hard movie whenever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. However, they made a very specific choice to set Die Hard at Christmas. It's not an accident.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing of just looking at directorial intent is why did they include... They didn't have to go buy fucking Christmas lights in July to make this damn movie, but they did.
Exactly. And they did. They didn't have to put, you know, sleigh bells in the soundtrack, but they did. They didn't have to make Hans Gruber's theme song Ode to Joy.
Yeah.
But they did.
They didn't have to make the first fucking sound you hear, like musically, sleigh bells. The first fucking actual song you can recognize you hear is Christmas in Hollis.
Yes.
This is not an accident.
Yeah, it's not an accident, and it's not a prank, and it's not a joke. This is it's the whole like purpose of the movie.
Number 3, elements of Christmas do not a Christmas movie make. Lethal Weapon has a Christmas tree lot scene. It's Christmas time. Lethal Weapon is not a Christmas movie. Fuck you. We watch this podcast. It's a Christmas movie.
Lethal Weapon is about a man becoming a part of a family over holidays. Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie.
Christmas is a prop in Die Hard, but not crucial. Could have easily has been a bar mitzvah. No. We talked about this on the Die Hard episode. While you could get away with making a movie such as Die Hard not at Christmas time.
I mean, they did it 3 times.
Yes. But the problem with the first Die Hard is all the elements to set it up as to what's going on is because it's a Christmas party at Christmas Eve, which is fucking weird anyway. Like, yeah. Like, have you ever been to a work Christmas party that wasn't on like December 12th or some shit?
No, never.
Like the Christmas party for where I'm working right now, which changes about every week where I'm fucking working because capitalism.
Yep. Hooray.
The party was on December 17th. And your office, probably the party was like on what?
It was like 2 weeks ago on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we're recording this on December 29th. So, yeah.
Yeah. So having a Christmas party on Christmas Eve is really weird, first off, because...
What asshole expects his employees to show up at work on Christmas Eve?
That's actually a weird thing I was thinking about with Christmas is... Christmas is one of those holidays where, even more so than a lot of other holidays, the build up to Christmas is almost more important than Christmas itself.
These days, yes.
Because you do all this shit before Christmas, and then on Christmas, it's just like, you just shoot your fucking load, basically. It's just like, we unwrap this, the kids have fun, we eat,
we're done.
Then I gotta go back to work on Friday.
Right, and we're like kind of in that sort of weird middle period right now where it's technically still quote unquote the holidays, just because New Year's is still 2 days away.
Yeah. Where, depending on your job, you either have off another few days, or you're kind of there but you're just kind of fucking around, which That's what my job is. We're there, but like whatever, there's another holiday coming up, so who cares? And
personally, like, yeah, I would go there, but it would be like, what are you doing here? Go home, there's nothing to do.
And the last point was Independence Day is not a Passover movie, which, I mean, Independence Day is not really a celebration of the 4th of July.
It's not.
Independence Day uses Independence Day to beat you over the head with jingoism.
Independence Day is what this guy thinks Die Hard is. Because Independence Day really could have taken place at any given time.
It's a fucking alien invasion movie.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when it takes place. The only reason Independence Day takes place across the 4th of July is so that Bill Pullman can say that stupid speech at the end.
Yeah.
And now my friend Libby is going to beat me over the head because I said that speech was stupid.
It's kind of like with we discussed with Rocky IV, and like we'll fucking discuss with Cobra.
Yeah.
That the only reason this movie takes place the only reason Rocky IV and Cobra take place at Christmas is because Sylvester Stallone is being like, yeah, it's more meaningful because all this shit's happening on Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's the same with It's a Wonderful Life for that fucking matter. The only reason the last 30 minutes of It's a Wonderful Life are at Christmas Eve is so Jimmy Stewart would be like, oh, it's extra bad because this has happened on fucking Christmas.
Exactly.
Like, there's no reason for It's a Wonderful Life to be a Christmas movie other than just like, oh, it's super bad that he's feeling all shitty and wants to kill himself because it's Christmas.
Right.
And also, the lesson he should have learned with It's a Wonderful Life was, oh, it's not that I should have been born, it's that I should fake my death for the insurance money. Because I've had a good run so far, but if I just, like, piece the fuck out, all these people get paid and everything's better.
Peace out, Mary. Peace out, Zuzu. I'm going to Jamaica.
Exactly.
You can say It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie because it represents, like, the goodness in people and all that, and that's fine. But what about that makes it Christmassy?
From what I've heard people say is the big reason It's a Wonderful Life is associated with Christmas is because one TV station or other just started playing it incessantly at Christmas time.
Right.
4. Your 6-year-old wakes up Christmas morning and wants to watch Miracle on 34th Street. You say great. Some sane kid wants to watch Die Hard. You don't say great because you know it's really a caper movie and it's rated R. Tough to be a true Christmas movie if children are banned. Fuck you, Philippe.
That's making a lot of assumptions about me and my children and what we like to watch. You know, who's to say that? First of all, what kid is getting up at Christmas morning and saying, I have to watch Miracle on 34th Street in 2018?
It's this overly precocious 3-year-old who's like, Mother, why is Bernie Sanders a bad man? Like all of these dumb like resistance assholes post this like shit that didn't happen, shove it in the mouth of a child. Therefore, you can't criticize me because a child said it.
I want to watch the movie about the pools.
Daddy, can we throw garbage at homeless people? It should be ever so joyous. 5. Christmas movies don't have die in the title. Oh, fuck you.
Some German Christmas movie has die in the title. I guarantee you.
I'll just say verpiss dich, Joe.
I don't know.
That means fuck you, Joe.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, that's really basically all I get out of my like 9 years of German at this point is I just know how to swear in German at people.
That's fine.
It works for it.
All right, next point here.
Next point here he has is Christmas movies don't have body counts.
Christmas shoes.
Let's just go with It's a Wonderful Life.
Christmas shoes.
Yes. I heard that song at work and I wanted to increase the body count by killing myself and everyone else there.
But hey, I want to take him at his word here because I want to finally and concretely say that Christmas Shoes is not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Done.
I'll take it.
So, Philippe, thank you. You've released us from a terrible burden.
Here's the bigger point. So when George wishes to never been born in It's a Wonderful Life, one of the things he realized that if he was never been born, he would not have saved Harry.
Yes.
And Harry would have not have saved like literally a boat full of people. So one of the things Clarence shows George is like, yeah, all these fucking people on this boat you don't know died because you're not around, George. Mm-hmm. Which, like, that's a fucking body count.
If that's not a body count, I don't know what is. But I'm trying to think, like, okay. So Home Alone is a Christmas movie only because Kevin doesn't murder Harry and Marv. Christmas Vacation, kind of the same thing.
Yes.
You know.
Speaking of, A Miracle on 4th Street, classic Christmas movie, was followed up with a sequel, Miracle on 35th Street. A Miracle on Canal Street rounded out the trilogy. No, because true Xmas Christmas movies aren't franchises, Home Alone. Die Hard films are a series of action/caper movies.
There are not multiple Miracle on 34th Streets, correct?
Yes, he's making the point that if there were, it would be bad.
But why? Live Free or Die Hard does not negate the fact that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Live Free or Die Hard takes place on the 4th of July, which what they're going with that is like, it's set on a holiday.
Yeah,
and one of the reasons Die Hard with a Vengeance is not a Christmas movie, like what I mean by that is not set at Christmas, is that first off, it didn't start out as like basically all of the Die Hard movies, it didn't start out as a Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
And second off, one of the points was it's just taking place on like the hottest fucking day of the year. Like it's some do the right thing ass bullshit.
Right. Taking him at his word here, Christmas Vacation is part 3 of the Vacation series. Does that mean Christmas Vacation is not a Christmas movie?
Yeah, that's among other arguments about Die Hard, like, it takes place on Christmas Eve. Fucking so does Christmas Vacation. So does, like, so many Christmas movies take place on Christmas Eve.
Or just in general around the holidays.
Yeah.
Like, Christmas Vacation is literally the whole framing device of that movie is the Advent calendar leading up to Christmas Eve.
Yeah. 8. Don't even start with Die Hard 2 being a Christmas movie. Could be any day of the year with overcrowded airports and late flights, meaning it could be any day of the year.
Honestly, I'll give him that one.
Well, the reason Die Hard 2 is it takes place at Christmas is because Die Hard took place at Christmas. I mean, that's...
Right, and the whole point of Die Hard 2 is let's replicate the first one as hard as we can. And I think Die Hard 2 is the reason Rennie Harlan went insane and became Rennie Harlan.
Yes. Yeah, this guy is just a fucking, like, prude is not even the right word. He's just a fucking wet blanket is the biggest problem I'm seeing going with his next tweet. 9. I'm Jewish, so
Stop.
I can't be... Oh, yeah, there we go. Actually, yeah, there we go. You're Jewish, so, like, yeah, what's your fucking opinion?
So
Go watch 8 Crazy Nights,
So
buddy.
what does he care?
Yeah. I mean, I get it that when you live in this country or on this planet, you're kind of inundated with Christmas stuff.
Right.
But at this point, all I've been doing the past couple of weeks has been playing Lego Lord of the Rings. So I've been pretty, like, not focusing on any...
You've been insulated away from it.
Like,
Yeah.
it's very easy to not pay attention to any, like, media shit at all.
Especially nowadays when there's so much media to personally stick in your own face.
Yeah. Like I said, like, hey, free Lego Lord of the Rings, Humble Bundle? Sure.
Yeah, take it. But okay, but anyway, his larger point is, I don't think you all go to Christmas mass and Christmas dinner greeting each other with yippee-ki-yay, Gammy, which, like, no, of course we don't. Why would you do that? You don't go to a Christmas party and start singing the Gremlins theme.
No, I am. But yeah, I mean, it kind of that's what annoying thing about Die Hard is the fact that yippee-ki-yay become like a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Because the entire point in the first one was he was joking about being a cowboy.
Exactly. And it just became a catchphrase. It's kind of the same way that, like, the Ode to Joy sort of accidentally became John McClane's theme song, even though in the first movie it's Hans Gruber's theme song.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like very specifically, there's like reasons why they did it, because Ode to Joy is kind of, it's a Beethoven piece, correct?
Yes.
And Beethoven was German, right?
Yes.
So was Hans Gruber.
And also, it is one of those songs that's not really about Christmas, but it does kind of get thrown around at Christmas time.
It's in the religious holiday ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better yet, what if a guest showed up wearing this, and now I have a Machine Gun Ho-Ho sweater? It's like, that's a good fucking sweater. What are you talking about, dipshit?
That's a great sweater to wear at a Christmas party. Like, no sane person would ever go walk into a church wearing that, but still. I don't go into a church wearing most things. That doesn't mean that they're not
I don't go into a church. I mean, that's problem solved.
Yeah. Which, there again, like, I realize a lot of people out there, some former listeners and maybe some current listeners kind of maybe have a problem with the way we observe the holidays. And, all I can say is, you celebrate it your way, and that's fine. And we'll do it our way, and that's fine too. Yeah.
10. I'll admit I never thought about her name being Holly, but that's hardly dispositive. It's one of those things that's just, it's another point.
So, who cares?
Well, what he's arguing, he's trying to argue against that point, but that point is a, like, that's like number 5 on your list of points. Like, plus also this.
Yeah.
So refuting that, you still managed not to refute like 1 through 4. So. Right. Bottom line, while the timing and trappings of Christmas underpin Die Hard, it's not a Christmas movie in the spirit of bona fide Christmas movies. To even have to debate the issue shows it's not. No real Christmas movie warrants the same debate.
Well, we just did it with It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
So,
and we can do it with Home Alone as well. Like, why does Home Alone take place at Christmas?
Because
the reason Home Alone takes place at Christmas is exactly why It's a Wonderful Life takes place at Christmas. Because you can go, oh, it's Christmas. That means it's extra bad that he's not with his family.
Right.
That's literally it.
It's the whole excuse is that his family is going on a Christmas trip. This should have been the plot of Christmas Vacation. Wait a minute. The family should have gone to Paris and left Clark Griswold at home to fend for himself.
Except what he's doing instead of fighting off burglars is he's trying to make Eddie think that he's not home, so Eddie won't come to visit.
Yeah. See? But no, like Home. Okay, so there's a whole other issue regarding Home Alone too, because like there's this like Twitter thing that blew up recently where somebody suddenly realized that the house in Home Alone is decorated for Christmas. The wallpaper is like red and green themed, and there's like holly, sort of on all the ugly 90s wallpaper and stuff. And oh my God, what family does this? Well, like the answer is like a fucking rich family in Chicago.
Yeah. Who has like 90 kids, and you can be like, hey, Buzz, go put up some fucking mistletoe. But
also, like, it's a fucking movie that's stylized to be set around the holidays. They did this on purpose to make you think about the holidays and Christmas in particular. Yeah. It's not an accident. It's not some like secret mystery that they're trying to put in there to like for an Easter egg for all you hardcore Marvel fans out there. It's simply like the basic bare bones of what a film has to do to put you in the mindset of like the time period and the era and the mood that they're trying to get you to think about. That's filmmaking 101, And it's not some like secret cabal that's trying to trick you into thinking that it's a Christmas movie. It's just a fucking Christmas movie.
His final point is that Bruce Willis said that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, which I'm pretty sure John McTiernan said it was. And I don't listen to Bruce Willis anyway, so.
Bruce Willis has kind of gone off the deep end for a number of reasons, and I don't listen to anything he says anymore.
I mean, even in Die Hard, Bruce Willis' entire character was he was kind of playing a only slightly hinged asshole.
Yeah.
That was just the character he played. Like, one of the great things about Die Hard with a Vengeance is when he's wearing the extremely racist sign and the guys come up and confront him about it, he just starts ranting in an insane voice about literally what happened that morning.
Right.
Like, he's not making up a story. He's literally just telling them, like, what happened this morning. He's like, I told her I had a bad headache, and she made me come out here and put on the sign. And it's just like, that's just how Bruce Willis acts normally to me. Like, that's just Bruce Willis being Bruce Willis. You could make an argument that so many movies aren't Christmas movies, you want to use his bullshit.
Yeah, I mean...
And the bigger point is, like, I know we're just perpetuating this by talking about this, but, like, when you start talking about what counts as a true Christmas movie or not, it's like you're trying to fucking please other people's fun, which...
Exactly. And the idea of the Christmas police, like, being out in full force, it kind of offends me. It really...
if anyone's going to be the Christmas Judge, Judy, and executioner, it's us.
Exactly. Like, trust us, we've been doing this since 2015. I think we know what we're talking about by now.
Yes. Or at least we have the experience. We are the most qualified people to fucking dig a goddamn political knife in there.
Exactly. Christmas Creeps is the authority on what is and what is not a Christmas movie. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even think that's the question we should be asking. The question we should be asking is, how Christmassy is this movie?
Yes.
And I think that's a pretty good segue into our movie for this week.
Yes, which we're watching Cobra this week. And the reason we're watching Cobra this week is because for some goddamn reason it has a bunch of Christmas shit in it.
But also because the day we're releasing this, New Year's Eve, happens to be in the Christian liturgical calendar, the feast of Saint Sylvester.
And in German, New Year's Eve is just called Sylvester, yeah.
So why not talk about another Stallone movie?
Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not?
You know, here on Christmas Creeps, there's about really one higher authority, if any, that we actually kind of respect. And that would have to be the true Father Christmas, Alonso Duralde.
Yeah, and in his book, Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, here's what he has to say about Die Hard. Even the Christmas setting isn't a throwaway. In the classic tradition of Christmas movie leading men, John McClane undergoes a sort of redemption, learning to appreciate his wife and to see her in a new light. Oh, and the climactic shootout involves gift wrap.
There you go.
So there you go. I mean, it's everything that we just wasted a whole lot of time saying in about 2 sentences. There you have it, folks. It's right there in the book. Anywho, I guess it's time for us to talk about tonight's movie. We've wasted your time enough. 1986's Cobra. Everyone who says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and here's the reasons why, the movie they're describing is Cobra. Because Cobra has... Christmas decorations kind of throughout, but has absolutely nothing at all to do with the holidays. No one wishes anyone a happy holiday or Merry Christmas, or even so much as, sings a Christmas carol.
No one really actually acknowledges that it's Christmas in any way, even just saying, like you said, Merry Christmas. It's just the guy in the toll booth at one point is dressed up as Santa. There's Christmas decorations everywhere. Someone over the PA in the supermarket mentions poinsettias. That's about it, though. It's more that they just happened to be filming the movie without a permit while Christmas was going on. Yeah,
basically. And in Los Angeles, who can tell the difference? I think the most Christmassy this movie gets is one of that early scene where Cobra has gone home and he's cleaning his gun and he's watching TV and there's an ad for Toys R Us on the TV. Like a Christmas ad for Toys R Us.
Yeah. And then, about an hour later into the movie, you have, like, a shot of, like, the sun, like, distorting, like, your vision with seagulls flying in front of it.
Right.
And it's like, literally 2 days later.
Mm-hmm. And like, a lot of the night scenes in this movie have Christmas lights, and they kind of do that thing that Shane Black likes to do, where he really just sets his movies at Christmas so he can make use of that kind of lighting.
Yeah.
But he actually goes that extra step to kind of give it a reason to be set at Christmas. Like, he makes that sort of a part of the plot. Even if it is, again, kind of superfluous, he at least makes the attempt. This movie makes no attempt. So I guess the place to start with Cobra, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Cobra. Like, this is an episode about Cobra. So if you're not into that, I hope the first 30 minutes of this show sufficed, because we're getting ready to talk about Cobra.
We need to talk about Cobra.
when we talk about Cobra.
We should talk about how, like, the lead into this movie first, like why this movie exists.
Yeah, because that's kind of more interesting than the movie itself.
Because basically, Stallone was originally signed on to play Eddie Murphy's character in Beverly Hills Cop. But Stallone is actually, to some extent, an accomplished screenwriter. Like, I mean, he wrote fucking Rocky.
Yeah.
So he started doing a lot of work on the screenplay and turned it into just a straight up, like, from like an action comedy-ish movie into straight up action movie. Mm-hmm. And the studio was just like, yo, we can't afford to do any of this.
Yeah, I mean, to give you an idea of the kind of things that he put in the screenplay, his version of Beverly Hills Cop ended with Stallone playing chicken with the villain while the villain's driving a train and he's driving a Lamborghini. That's the kind of shit that the studio was like, we can't pay for this. This is too expensive for us. So literally, like,
just like, I'll make my own movie with blackjack and hookers.
Exactly. So literally, like 2 weeks before they were set to shoot, Stallone was out, Eddie Murphy was in, and they made Beverly Hills Cop, and that ended perfectly fine. Beverly Hills Cop's great. Yeah. But then Stallone decided, well, I'm just going to take all these ideas and make my own movie, and there you have Cobra. But at the same time, Cobra is still kind of sort of based on the same book that Beverly Hills Cop was kind of sort of based on. Paula Gosling's, it's called A Running Duck, but it's also referred to as Fair Game, which itself was made into a movie starring Cindy Crawford in the 90s. So, God, what a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I think I'm not that familiar, but I think of the three, Cobra is probably the least related to the book.
Yeah, almost definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, Cobra is geez, it's interesting is what I'll say, which is not as the same as saying it's good.
It is one of those movies that only could really exist in like the late 70s to the 80s, mm-hmm. where it's purely ego driven. Like Stallone wrote it, despite what's his name, the guy who directed First Blood Part 2, George Cosmatos being credited as director. Stallone basically directed it.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, I don't know, the situation like where Cobra kind of sits in 1986 is kind of interesting because like it came about at a time when like the LA police being militarized to sort of control minority populations in LA for the 84 Olympics was kind of a big deal. And that kind of spun out into all sorts of horrible things like the LA riots and stuff like that. But also you get movies where like LA super cops are like a huge genre of movie. And this is kind of the most stereotypical movie, like kind of that movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it feels like where the screenwriters are coming from are just like, oh, the cops have like grenades and rocket launcher stuff right now. Well, the cops are the good guys, so obviously they need them. So we just have super criminals now. And
to go back to Die Hard for a minute, the best example of all of this is in Die Hard, where the police try to storm Nakatomi Plaza with that tank to absolutely no avail. Like, no, they shouldn't have a tank at all, but they're going to use it on this fucking terrorist organization who's taken over the top floor of a skyscraper.
Which the entire reason their tank fucks up and they get it lit on fire is because they tried to drive it up a flight of stairs and they got stuck.
Exactly. So not only is it completely inadequate for the task at hand, but they're also totally incompetent.
Yes.
So what we're saying is we should be watching Die Hard instead. But no, back to Cobra.
Yeah, the two main stars, Sylvester Stallone plays Marion Cobretti.
One of my favorite hero names ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Marion Cobretti.
And Brigitte Nielsen plays a model named Ingrid, and they were together at this time, right? Like it was not because of this movie; it was already established.
I think so. Yeah. I knew they divorced fairly soon after this movie. I think, but
here, let's see,
may or may not be because of it.
Yeah, she was married to Stallone in 85, divorced in 87. So yeah, this movie was the middle point of that.
Exactly. Wow.
Also just funny, she played like one of the villains in Beverly Hills Cop 2, didn't she?
I think she did, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember her from like the beginning. That's one of those movies where I only remember seeing parts of it on Comedy Central, basically. And I remember like one of the first scenes in it is a robbery, and she's just like, "Everybody touch the sky," like some intentionally weird English.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, basically, this movie kind of feels. I'm not gonna say cut from the same cloth as Dirty Harry. It's more like someone rummaged around in the trash cans outside the fabric store where they got the cloth for Dirty Harry, maybe.
I mean, it's like they tried to make a second pot of coffee from the grounds that made Dirty Harry, and it's just even further watered down and gross.
Yeah, I will say I do like this movie just for how like so bafflingly 80s it is. This is really not that good of a movie by any metric, other than just like it wasted 87 minutes of my life.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's got this quality to it that I can't quite define, where it's just I enjoy the 80s-ness of it because like it's still so like it's neon soaked and grimy and dirty, and it's very like got this cops and robbers sort of 80s mentality to it that I just sort of gravitate towards, I guess because I'm an 80s kid and that's just
pretty much
what I know. Yeah, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure kind of movie.
Yeah.
So the plot, such as it is that there is a gang in LA. I think they're called the New Order. Is that right?
What it is there's a serial killer called the Night Slasher, and that's what the police know. And it turns out that he has basically an entire gang or an army of murders behind him called like the New Order, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're basically it's just some like Darwinian bullshit. It's like, oh, it's survival of the fittest. We're going to kill the weak and blah, 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 blah.
And it almost seems like they're two completely different entities because he kind of operates independent of them. I feel like because they do their thing and they kill people, in the middle of the night. But then the Night Slasher goes around kind of on his own and kills other people too.
Yeah, he is with them, but he will just go and we'll get to the hospital scene. But yeah, he very easily could have just sent like 30 guys in the hospital, like, hey, go fuck that hospital up. Instead, he like sneaks in like he is a one-man army, basically.
Mm-hmm. So the very basic gist of the plot is that
it starts out there's just some random killings around. There's like 16 seemingly unrelated but maybe related killings. There's one
the one that opens the movie, is that related or not?
Yeah, the one that opens the movie is in a King supermarket with the most baffling product placement ever, just of how much it is. Like, it really does feel like they just filmed in a supermarket, like kind of like Clerks, but at least in Clerks they like covered up the logos.
Yeah. Well, okay, so in this opening scene, this guy just walks into a grocery store with a shotgun and starts blasting up the place. Cobra comes in to sort of take him out, and while he's hiding behind a shelf, or he's like hiding behind one of the aisles, he's like standing behind a giant Pepsi display, and he's just like chugging a Coors beer.
Yeah.
Like right in front of the camera.
And also in this scene, I remember seeing Bounty, I remember seeing Pampers Loves and Huggies. And then later on, there's even RC Cola and Coke hiding in there too, and Coors and Miller and King Cobra.
Because you got to have King Cobra and Cobra.
Yeah, it's really weird because they're this very prominent product placement where it seems like someone was paying for it, especially Pepsi. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you still have a Coke machine just sitting in the movie too.
Yeah, there is like indiscriminate product placement in the movie. They really don't care. So I kind of feel like they just shot the movie and then like asked for forgiveness after the fact.
Yeah,
because like I don't think they would I don't think Coke or Pepsi would have said yes to it if either one knew the other was in the movie.
Yeah, especially with Pepsi, it's all over the place. He has that giant neon Pepsi sign next to his apartment, but then like the guy with the gun in the supermarket blows up a Pepsi display.
That Pepsi display too kind of baffled me. Like I rewound that scene a couple of times and watched it because the rope of Pepsi that comes down out of that can into like whatever tub and then recirculates. It's just like one of those effects where you're like, it's an optical illusion, but I know it's real. How is it doing this? And I love it.
Yeah, like if in today I would say like, oh, it's some like weird little like display and like circular display where it's just a picture going down it. But back in the 80s, I'm like, what did they do?
Right,
like,
I don't know.
It can't just be a Pepsi fountain. That would just be insane.
Yeah, that would be an insane waste of resources. So I feel like there's like a back into it where like the chain of like plastic Pepsi goop kind of loops back around.
Yeah, there must be. Yeah,
it has to be. This is not what is important about the film. It's just something that fascinates me.
Yeah, like I remember watching this movie when I was way too young, like probably like 6 or 7, and all I really remember of it is this scene, is the Pepsi machine in particular.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's your main take. I mean, I'm glad that's your main takeaway from this film at the age of 7, but geez.
Yeah, so this guy goes in the supermarket, starts shooting the place up and yelling, and the police have it all surrounded, and they send in Cobra, who's from the zombie squad, which the idea I got behind that was just it's kind of like Z for zombie and their plan Z, like they're like, when all else fails, send Cobra in, pretty much.
Yeah, I got the impression that the zombie squad was basically they're basically like the LA cop version of Daredevil. Like they'll go in after hours and they'll fight the bad guys that the police can't do like procedurally.
Yeah, because later on there's a montage of him shaking down just what someone would consider like just scum, which basically just means whoever's awake at night and also a tattoo parlor, basically.
Yeah, basically homeless people, tattoo artists, hookers, and whoever happens to go to a bar at night.
But so Cobra goes in and he starts arguing with the guy. This is where he says one of the 2 taglines on the poster: "Crime is a disease, and I'm the cure."
And the guy is threatening to like blow the place up, and Cobra goes, "Go ahead, I don't shop here."
Yeah, it's a great line for how stupid it is. Yeah, but yeah, the guy does end up killing one hostage, and Cobra throws a knife at him, yells, "Drop the gun," and then shoots him a bunch of times. And as he goes outside, the cops are not the cops, but the reporters are all being like, they're basically being cop movie reporters. They're just like, "Why'd you have to kill the guy? Excessive force." And it's like, he killed that guy first. I mean,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, he had hostages. Like, not that I'm defending cops just indiscriminately shooting people, but it's like, if cops are gonna shoot somebody, maybe the armed gunman holding hostage who's already executed one of the hostages might be a good place to start, or maybe that's one of the ones where it's just like, okay, we'll look into this.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just literally immediately take the fucking murderer's side because you are in fact a reporter in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that'll come back into play at the very end of the movie too, because like cops are supposed to have procedures and laws that bind what they can do to the criminals,
which strikes me as the only reason that kind of language is in this movie is because it was in Dirty Harry, because none of the rest of the movie reflects that at all.
Yeah, exactly, because Cobra blows away fools like left and right, and it doesn't even matter.
In general, I just want to state we generally have or at least me and Karen generally have a position of basically fuck the police in general. But movie cops are not police. Movie cops are cartoon characters.
Yeah. So
when we are in any way supporting like just murdering people like Cobra does, only in the context of this is a fucking cop movie.
Right. And in the context of like, yeah, maybe serial killers and nut jobs with guns who take over grocery stores, maybe they don't deserve due process. I don't know. It's very sticky, and I don't want to get into it personally.
Yeah. Overall, the important thing is it's a fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah. These people are out to murder as many people as they can. So yeah, maybe they should
because they're movie villains. Yeah.
Exactly, because they're movie villains. And yeah, maybe they should be shot the fuck up. I don't know.
So yeah, Cobra has a confrontation with the reporters. Is like, "You think this guy had due process?" and shoves him literally in front of a corpse's face in front of cameras.
He's like, "Tell that to his parents."
Yeah. And they start arguing more.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's more cop arguments, and then there's like a couple of different more random killings of just literally just random people, like a woman coming out of a restaurant, a guy in a car. Like they're really just targeting whoever.
Yeah, it's pretty indiscriminate, but it seems to be like pretty young blondes that are out past curfew, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, and then where the plot actually starts kicking in is at one point they kill some random woman, and then Brigitte Nielsen's character drives by in a Jeep, and she happens to get a very, very good glimpse of the night slasher. Mm-hmm. How she knows that he is the night slasher and he's the one in charge, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, she like picked him out of all of them and gave that face to the police sketch artist.
Yeah, but they eventually they have a mole on the inside, which it was actually very refreshing. The killers have a mole in the cops. It was actually very refreshing that it was clear from the start who the mole was, and it wasn't some big surprise later of, oh, shock and awe, the one person who's with Stallone and his partner, like the one character we don't know who it is the mole. Like, it was nice actually knowing that was, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, because like so many movies like this will just bring in a random character out of nowhere and be like, oh, I wonder who the fucking mole might be. But then in this movie, you literally see her with the Night Slasher and his crew before she joins the police. So like when she shows up like as a cop in the office, you're like, oh shit, that's one of the Night Slasher's people.
Yeah,
it's like it's blatantly obvious.
I do love in the opening scene of when they're all like clanking axes together. First off, some of the people have mismatched axes. There's one guy with a full like sized fire axe, and then also like a tiny little hatchet. And just some people are wearing like cultist robes, and there's just one like fat schlubby guy in a suit who looks like kind of like Milton from Office Space. Yeah,
there's just a couple of guys in business suits. Like this cult is drawing in people from all walks of life. I kind of love it. Their message is going far and wide.
Brigitte Nielsen is a model, and she has a photo shoot with a bunch of robots because
that's okay. This is great. Like the first like big montage, like music video in the movie is like the first half of it is Cobra like walking around town at night, questioning people about the Night Slasher. The second half of it is Brigitte Nielsen doing a photo shoot with these like robots that kind of look like, if I didn't know better, I would say they were sex robots, but they can't possibly be because this is the 80s. Yeah, but they're sex robots.
It's even weirder thinking about like, is it Rocky 3 or Rocky 4 that has the Happy Birthday Polly robot in it? I think it's 4.
That's 4, yeah.
It's just, was Stallone just obsessed with having robots in his movies for a little bit?
Probably so, yeah. I think he probably saw like a sculpture installation, probably on this movie, and said, yeah, we should put that in next Rocky movie.
I don't hate it, is what I'll say.
Right.
As she's leaving the photo shoot, they attack, the killers attack, and just kill 3 or 4 people. Like, it is very strange. Like, they're in a van, and they just ram the van into a security guard and into an elevator. And then drive the van, like, that's your escape route, isn't it? And they just drive the van off. Like, no one's going to notice this van with a dead, like, security guard in the mangled front of it.
Yeah, just hanging out of the fucking fender. Like, ugh.
And then she gets to the cops eventually, and that's when Cobra and his partner Gonzalez come in.
And Gonzalez, by the way, like, I know he's been in tons of stuff, but I just immediately went, oh, that's Poppy from Seinfeld. And
Rennie Santoni.
Rennie Santoni, yeah, like he was in Dirty Harry of all things.
Holy shit. You're right. That was fucking Chico from Dirty Harry. Because I was thinking to myself, why does Stallone have a Hispanic partner? Oh, because Dirty Harry has a Hispanic partner. It's literally fucking Dirty Harry's partner.
Hey,
Holy
John,
shit.
I've got more news for you because Andrew Robinson is the guy that Cobra has like beef with on the police force. He was the Scorpio killer in Dirty Harry.
That's where I recognize him from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
So this
movie.
Cobra loves Dirty Harry is kind of what we're coming around to.
Not there's anything wrong with that, I guess.
No, I don't think so.
So
yeah, the rest of the movie is Cobra keeping Brigitte Nielsen's character. What's her name?
Ingrid,
that's right. He's keeping Ingrid. He's protecting her from the Night Slasher and his gang.
Usually via killing a bunch of them.
Yeah, mostly. But like after the incident at the hospital where the Night Slasher himself goes to her hospital room to kill her, and she escapes by after much
ado, she hits a fire alarm.
Exactly. And then Cobra has to like race to the hospital because somebody sent Gonzalez home
on a wild goose chase.
Yeah.
The plot's very light. It's mainly just an excuse to get between action scenes, and it's an 87-minute movie, and there are 2 like full-on music videos in it, basically.
There's 2 music videos. There's one really good car chase, and like I'll say the car chase in this movie is pretty good.
The car chase is very good, but also very baffling.
I mean, it's just things blowing up and cars going fast, but like,
well, not just that, but who's chasing who in the car chase?
Hang on. Cobra.
It's not
Cobra's
the killers chasing Cobra.
Cobra's chasing the Night Slasher because the Night Slasher blows up those two tankers that are in front of Cobra on the highway. So Cobra's chasing Night Slasher.
You would think in a car chase like this, it would be, the Night Slasher's trying to catch Cobra and Ingrid. But no, Cobra and Ingrid are chasing the Night Slasher down, and Cobra has like a fucking like Uzi or something, just shooting like literally a fucking submachine gun because he's a cop.
Right.
And the only reason the chase ends is because Cobra literally runs into a boat, and the Night Slasher gets away. The scene is completely backwards. It should be Cobra running from the fucking cops, or from the Night Slasher, not the Night Slasher running from the fucking cops. Like the scene has no music in it all at the start, and it's really amazing because you don't really notice for a few minutes into like, oh wow, there's no music, there's no like like chase music.
Yeah, for real. And the fact that the chase scene doesn't end with like Cobra crashing his car and the Night Slasher and his goons axing him to death is strange to me. Like, why not? That's the perfect setup.
It's because he kills like 4 of them, and you see them, and they're just like, "Holy shit, we didn't know he was allowed to have guns too."
But there's apparently like 10,000 of them, so I don't know why they weren't around. Ugh.
I want to jump back to one thing we skipped here of just like Cobra's home life because it's amazing. Like he lives like on the beach in like Venice or something that was really trashy in the 80s, but still beachfront.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in like a rooftop apartment of this building next to a giant neon Pepsi sign. And
the sequence of events when he goes home for the first time are like the stuff of legend, I think.
Yeah, he like pulls up and parks like in the street, but like he hits like a fucking like stereotypical like Cuban gangbanger, even though they're in Los Angeles because shrug.
Why not? Because they made it look so much like Miami. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Like that's specifically why I'm saying Cuban. By the way, I'm not just saying they all look the same. Right. It's so fucking Miami. Like it's chumping Scarface so hard. He like bumps their car and just pretty much because he has a gun, the guy backs down.
Right.
Then he goes up to his apartment, past a giant Pepsi sign, picks up the newspaper, looks at the front page, puts it in a barbecue grill.
Yes.
Goes into his apartment, turns the TV on, there's a Toys R Us commercial playing, goes to the fridge, pulls out a pizza box, which somehow is not a brand, it just says pizza.
Yeah, it's like just plain pizza.
And an egg carton, which has gun cleaning supplies in it.
The egg carton was in the freezer, by the way.
He picks up a pair of scissors, cuts the slice of pizza in half to eat it.
He eats the crust half and not the half that he cut off. Just leaves it there. And then while he's watching this Toys R Us ad, just starts cleaning his gun.
And like also, like, half of his apartment is basically like a Pepe Silva board.
Yeah.
And he has a bunch of like police computers and shit set up too. Like he's just full on doing detective work at home, which that's probably actually not his job per se to actually be doing all of that shit.
Right.
Because it sounds like he's just dumb muscle.
This confused me because there's a scene. Okay. Ingrid is at the hospital and like Gonzalez is supposed to be there watching after her, right?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Cobra is at home looking over fingerprints and criminal records on his computer to figure out who this Night Slasher person is. Then he gets a phone call from Gonzalez. Gonzalez says that somebody sent him home or sent him to Cobra's house from the hospital.
Send him to Cobra's office at the police station, not his house.
Oh, okay. Because that confused me because I was like, hang on, why did Gonzalez call Cobra from Cobra's house if Cobra is already home? God, this movie.
Yeah, I think we're conflating two house scenes right here, but it basically all runs together.
It's all the same, really.
Because Cobra gets the call from Gonzalez and realizes, oh shit, and he runs outside, and there are immediately 3 like masked axe-wielding murderers outside his house, like outside his front door.
In his house, yeah.
Yeah, and he just fucking kills all 3 of them and just leaves them there. And it's really funny because you see this literal body count Cobra is leaving behind, and the police are like, "Oh, we don't think it's more than one guy." It's like I killed 6 of them tonight.
Yeah. So it's like a news flash to them that the Night Slasher is not just one guy; it's one guy plus an entire gang of like goons.
So he goes back to the hospital, gets her out. And they come up with a plan that the other cops agree to the plan basically to get Cobra out of their hair is, well, if she leaves town and the Night Slashers are only really concerned about killing her because she's a witness, then he'll follow her.
Exactly. It's kind of a great plan, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Like if they're just concerned about keeping crime down in LA, what better plan than to lure the criminals that are currently plaguing the streets out of LA?
There you go.
Yeah.
So they go to a foundry town. I think it was called San Remos in one of the signs, which it's really funny because as soon as they go out of the country, the Coke machine appears. When it was in LA, was a Pepsi city.
Yeah. So the Coca-Cola is the drink of the people. Pepsi is the bougie, urban whatever. Pepsi is the choice of a new generation.
Coca-Cola Classic for real America.
Yeah, Gonzalez is drinking Coca-Cola Classic.
Yeah, the party leaving town it's Cobra, Gonzalez, Ingrid, and Stalks, who is the mole.
Yeah, Lady Cop Mole.
And so they go to some town, just some random town, into a hotel. Cobra starts going through his supplies, it's a fucking submachine gun with a laser sight and a bunch of grenades, in addition to his like pearl handled engraved with a Cobra handgun.
Yeah.
And then he and Brigitte Nielsen fuck because why not? And then literally like hundreds of murderers show up at this town that has 400 people in it. Yeah,
like the end of the movie is like a Western standoff. Well, that's not even the end of the movie. It's just this action scene.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes of the movie are basically an action scene, and then like 2 minutes of like wrapping up the plot.
Yeah, no, it's kind of baffling to me, but like for real, the last act of this movie is like Rio Bravo meets fucking Terminator 2. Because there's the Western standoff with all the Axe gang attacking this motel that they're in, and Cobra and Ingrid somehow getting out alive, and then leading them on a chase into a foundry down the street. And the entire last action scene of the movie takes place in basically the foundry from Terminator 2.
Yeah, it's a Sparks and Fire factory.
Yeah, it's Patton Oswalt's Sparks factory. But yeah, he kills the rest of the goons, and then he finally like meets the Night Slasher in person.
And they have a standoff, and the Night Slasher starts going, "Oh, you have to take me in if you can, fucking pig," while he's holding a knife and a gun. And it's like, if you surrendered, he might have to take you in, but you're sitting there holding a gun. He could just fucking shoot you for.
You're still actively threatening a police officer. Like, I don't think that dog's gonna hunt.
Yeah.
And so Cobra responds to this by grabbing him, picking him, or they fight for a while, but he finally grabs him, picks him up, and then like hangs him on a meat hook. Then sends him sailing into a blast furnace.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. Like, I know he's the villain, but that's a horrifying death.
So then they go out, and Gonzalez is going to the hospital, and Cobra gets confronted by Monty, who is Scorpio from Dirty Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, you kind of overdid it, didn't you, Cobra? It's just like, all you have to do is be like, I don't agree with your ways, but damn it, you get results because you're a cop in a movie.
Yeah, like, damn, you're a damn fine cop, but like, no.
Yeah, instead he's fucking mouths off, and then Cobra shakes his hand and sucker punches him, which is hilarious, to be honest. And none of the other cops bat a fucking eye about it. The other cops are just kind of like, that probably should have happened, yeah.
Punches him in the face, and it's like, no hard feelings, right? And then Ingrid and Cobra get on a motorcycle and
just Zed's Dead Baby off into the sunset.
Yeah, and to some like random 80s tune, I don't recall. I think it's the Gary Wright song on the soundtrack.
One
thing,
be wrong. Yeah, one thing I was looking at the trivia is that the touch from Transformers was originally written for this movie, but they didn't use it.
That's a baffling thing to me. Oh my god! It's like I want to see a version of this movie now that just inexplicably has the touch in the middle of it. Or hell, not even the touch. Just I want to hear Marky Mark's singing the touch in this movie. Because that feels like kind of not quite contemporary, but like the kind of thing that would definitely be in a mid-'80s Stallone movie.
Yeah, this movie is just overall so baffling because it's kind of like a nothing fart of a movie, but it has all these weird connections to other shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's It's what I kind of love about movies, how the productions will sort of shift and morph over time into different things, and just like how Die Hard started out as potentially a sequel to a Frank Sinatra detective movie called The Detective, right? But this movie started out as Beverly Hills Cop. Like, that's so bizarre. I love it.
And I mean, if you really want literally a 2-word summary to what the fuck this movie was about, Canon Group. That's all you got to know. Yeah,
Canon Group, Golan Globus. Like, they threw some money at Stallone because they knew it would make money. And I think the only reason they're like company logos not on the movie is because it's largely a Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, let's just run through a little bit of Canon's oeuvre, I guess. Yeah. Masters of the Universe, Over the Top, American Ninja, American Ninja 2. I'm looking at the list of things that you've heard of. Basically, all the American Ninja movies, and just a bunch of random who the fuck knows what this is 80s action movies and shit like that. And then also, just inexplicably, just a bunch of like boob comedies.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Where the fuck do you go? Hot T-shirts. The description IMDb gives is: in order to avoid having to close his bar, the owner and some friends organize a wet T-shirt competition.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then a movie just called Slumber Party 57. Gee, I wonder what that's about.
I have no idea. But yeah, so that's canon in a nutshell. Like, this is just the kind of shit that they make. I mean, it's all like, there's some gems, but it's mostly shit.
Yeah, like canon is like on like the pantheon of just 80s trash movies.
Yeah,
and I fucking love them for it.
But yeah, so Cobra, as far as Christmas is concerned, like we said it before, and I feel like it bears repeating. This really is the movie that Die Hard detractors think Die Hard is.
Yeah,
because there's Christmas lights, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's Christmas decorations all over the place that no one really ever bothers to acknowledge.
And you can't make the argument that like this is about a man like reclaiming his family or redeeming himself or anything like that, because no, it's just about Cobra blowing away some fools.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other plot to the movie, and there's no to the extent that you could say Die Hard has a subtext. Like, there's none of that subtext here in Cobra. It's straight up Stallone riding a motorcycle and shooting some guys, and yeah, no.
Yeah, and in retrospect, I thought before I rewatched it for this, I thought kind of the reason was said at Christmas was just Stallone being like, yeah, it's extra fucked up that there's these killers because it's Christmas, but the movie doesn't even bother to say that. Like, yeah,
like no one in the movie at any point like has the speech where they go like, it's terrible this is happening around the holidays, we have to stop it, you know?
Yeah.
Last time on the show we did Team America World Police because that was kind of a special case where we didn't want to talk about Christmas. We wanted to talk about something completely different. This time though, I feel like it's important for us to set out, you know, when we say a movie is a Christmas movie, what are we talking about? And this is kind of the paradigm for movies that have Christmas in it but aren't Christmas movies, because this is the bare minimum of what you're allowed to do and still get away with being on our show. I think.
Yeah, and I mean, to the point, if you wanted to watch this at Christmas and be like, yeah, this is my Christmas movie, weird flex, but okay, you know,
yeah, no one's stopping you.
I'm not going to fucking deny that to you, because what the fuck ever, you know.
Yeah, listen, like, we are not the Christmas police. The Christmas police are out there, but we are not them.
No, we are the Christmas zombie squad.
We are the Christmas zombie squad, that's right.
Because I did call us Judge Judy and Executioner in the last segment, so I can't really defend the statement that we're not the Christmas police.
We're not the Christmas police, because the Christmas police are a bunch of assholes that don't like anybody celebrating Christmas in a way that they don't approve of.
I know, we are Christmas internal affairs.
We are Christmas internal affairs, that's right. We are the Christmas police.
I'll take it.
Listen, Christmas police, if you're out there telling people that they're not allowed to celebrate Christmas in a way that you don't deem appropriate, we're on to you, and we're going to get you. Fuck you.
By making fun of you, maybe by name, on our podcast.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Well, I feel like that's a good place for us to stop and switch gears here and go over to the Crankometer.
Yes.
Where we will rate this film on our patented XY axis, where we discuss how Christmassy the movie is versus how good it actually is. So Johnny 5 on the crankometer on the x-axis. How Christmassy is Cobra?
Okay. Like we usually say, it's not really at all. So it's pretty much starting from 0. At the same time, it does kind of follow Bradford's theory on just like 1 in 12 movies has Christmas decorations in it because that's how the year works.
Exactly. Yeah, this really is like his best sort of case scenario, I think.
Yeah. I don't want to give it too many negative points because like it doesn't actively have a shitty Christmas message, which is what I really like to reserve like -4 and 5 for. But I would say like -2 or -3 because it has Christmas for absolutely no purpose in it.
Right. It has it for no purpose, but doesn't use it in an ill-advised way. Yeah. So I feel like a -3 is probably a good.
Yeah. If you don't use it, you're not misusing it at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And they barely even use it. So yeah, I feel like -3 is probably allowed.
Yeah.
Good. Glad that we settled that quickly. Y-axis, how good is Cobra? This is a little trickier because while I enjoyed it, I have to wonder how much of that enjoyment is ironic.
I mean, ironic enjoyment is still enjoyment, though.
That's true. I mean, but I'm not gonna give this movie like super bonus points for being like a great action movie because it's kind of not. It's competent. It's fine. It's just.
It's a spectacle in sense of like, what the fuck am I even watching?
Yeah, what even is this? And if I have to give it any brownie points at all, it's for being short, knowing when to quit, and I don't know, just knowing what it is and what it isn't.
Yeah, I'll have to say, kind of if a lesser, not even a lesser, just I don't even know how to describe it, but like. There wasn't a sex scene in this movie, and any other guy who was written, directed, starring, catered by his own movie with his wife would totally put a gratuitous fucking sex scene in it.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, imagine a worse movie than Cobra. I'm not sure what that movie looks like, but because this movie is still not that great.
Maybe Samurai Cop?
Probably, like, but at that point, you're just like dipping into like almost intentional like bad filmmaking.
Yeah. Like this was intended to be an actual major movie because fucking Stallone's in it at the height of Stallone's career.
Right, and not that how much money it made has any bearing on how good it is, but this was actually kind of a hit back in the day. So
It is really weird watching Stallone in this, though, because he's definitely in good shape, but he's not just a walking steroid like he is in movies before and after this.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can tell he's really kind of trying to bite that Dirty Harry's vibe kind of hard because he's like really leaning into the catchphrases and he's really sort of doing the grizzled cop thing.
Yeah, we didn't mention it. He's chewing on a matchstick literally the entire movie.
He's chewing on a matchstick on the cover of the movie, on the poster even. So that's like his thing. God, I don't know. I want to give this just a carbon neutral 0 because, like, as much as I enjoyed it, it is not a great movie, and I don't want to give it points it doesn't deserve.
Yeah, I would be perfectly happy giving this as a 1 or a 0. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can go with 0.
Let's go 0. Yeah. So Booker, this is your last one for 2018. Mark it down, -3 and 0 for Cobra.
I'm happy with that.
Oh boy, so it's been a hell of a year, John.
It has.
We have gone to some places. We've had some great guests on our show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the new year has in store for us on Christmas Creeps. So we will take Do we want
to get any sort of previews or suggestions or anything like that?
No, because I honestly have no idea. I honestly have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, we do this every year where we come up with a list of things that we want to do on the show. And then at the end of the year, the list of things we did do that we said we would do is like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah. How many years now have you been saying we were going to watch Scrooged?
2, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's like
we're going to watch it last year. We're going to watch that the year before.
Yeah, and we like we said last week, we've still got our friend Jacob still has us on the line for doing Santa's sleigh. So at some point we got to get to that. Yeah. But Yeah, this year I think of the movies that I kind of plotted out for us, we really only covered 3 or 4 of them.
Nice.
So all I'm going to say is, the next year is going to have us some fun surprises, because even we don't know what the hell we're doing before we do it. But we're going to take a break. I feel like we'll take a 2 or 3 week. Take a break for a few weeks, and we'll be back in the new year with, I guess we're going to call it season 5 of Christmas Creeps. Is that how podcasts do that now? Like, it's just...
we go with that, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
we've been doing this for 4 full fucking years at this point. What the hell's wrong with us?
I really don't know, and I'm kind of disturbed. Well, I think that's going to do it for this year of Christmas Creeps 2018. If you have any questions or comments or future episodes that you'd like us to cover at some point, you can get at us a few different ways. You can email us at xmascreeps@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Christmas Creeps. Go to facebook.com/Christmas Creeps and subscribe to us on there. Go to iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and or YouTube. Any one of those sites, whichever one you prefer. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let people know that this is a show worth listening to. Please leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. Also, I would like to say that we are proud members of the Christmas Podcast Network, a coalition of like-minded holiday fanatics who just want to spread the Christmas cheer the one way we know how, and that's through the magic of podcasting. The show that I want to highlight today is Deck the Hallmark, which is a show hosted by Bran, Dan, and Dan. They just wrapped up their very first season, where they reviewed all 37 movies produced by the Hallmark Channel this year, which was a mammoth undertaking, and I am honestly kind of impressed and amazed that they made it. It's a great podcast. It's a fun, very entertaining podcast. You should definitely check it out. But if you're not really a fan of the Hallmark sort of flavor of Christmas, that's okay, because the Christmas Podcast Network has shows for all flavors of holiday entertainment. So go to Christmas Podcast Network today and check out the shows on the network, and have a great time. So for Christmas Creeps, I am Joseph Wade, here for Johnny 5 the Human Robot, Karen 5, and Mr. Bradford, wishing everybody a happy new year and a safe new year, and we will see y'all down the road in just a few short weeks, where we will kick off Season 5 of Christmas Creeps. Have a great night, and peace out.
Happy Christmas! Happy Christmas! Happy Christmas, you guys!
Yeah, I'll leave with one final thought. Cobra uses nitrous on a residential street in this movie.
If I had to describe this movie in one sentence, it would be, what if Dominic Toretto were a cop?